people are labeling us insane. Us meaning humans, people going through shit, people having issues, people that need help with life. Music today is from Mount Elsewhere, Mama Aito. Nice instrumental beats. Check them out. Always on Apple Music. You'll go in there and check that out. What we want to talk about today on the mind of the insane, which you could check out on YouTube, Facebook. Join the group, The Mind of the Insane, on Facebook. Go in, come in, leave comments, check out resources, links that you can read, help you get your mind right. If you have an email or want to contact us, our stories, our time at AOL.com. Come kick it with us. All right. So this the deal today. A lot of people, we're going to talk about something that people haven't talked about, and that would be parental abuse. Okay? That's what we're talking about today, parental abuse. But before we could talk about that, we need to figure out what that is. As a parent, regardless if you work for yourself at home or whatever, if you have children, you provide for them, you take care of them. So when a time like this, when things is going to the left, are your children being disrespectful? Do you feel they being disrespectful? Parent abuse, where a child causes physical, psychological, or financial damage to a parent with the intention of controlling the relationship. Catch it. I'm going to say this again. Parent abuse, where an older child causes physical, psychological, or financial damage to a parent with the intention of controlling the relationship. It appears to be a hidden yet increasingly prevalent problem. Okay? Now, if you go on the group page, Facebook, The Mind of the Insane, there are plenty of things that are listed there that constitute abuse. Yelling at you, giving you the silent treatment, um, not talking to you until you do what they want you to do. It's a lot of signs to this. So, parent abuse has been identified by Cottrell, 2, 2001, page 3, as any harmful act of a child intended to gain power and control over the parent. The abuse can be physical, psychological, or financial. Now, many of us as parents, whether you are in a mom and dad home, a single parent home with either the mom or the dad, because there's plenty dads out there who are head of the household taking care of their children. Now that we have identified what parental abuse actually is, are you being abused? Are your children trying to gain control over the situation? Are they not? Have you sat down and explained to them financially how things have changed? Or are they still gaining control of the situation? And because you know that the situation has changed, you can no longer financially be there the way that you used to. You can no longer emotionally be there because now you might perhaps have to work more, supplement more income, figure things out. If children are going through divorce, a lot of situations have separated. Have you spoken to the children about this? Do you feel a need to? Because a lot of that backlash could be coming from just a lack of communication. I want to read this article by Anita Baloyan. I hope I'm saying that properly. But she wrote an article and it was called Should Children Obey Their Parents by Aneta Baloyan, just in case I'm saying her name um, not appropriately. Y'all ready for this? Should children obey their parents? Or perhaps more to the point, should parents insist upon their children's obedience? A large number of parents were observed getting very angry when their children don't do as they are told. The parents often become loud, aggressive when a child doesn't comply with their requests. Some parents start counting, others pressurize with threats that are often disrespectful and unlikely to be carried through. However, others are certain that children just need guidance and should be treated with respect as equals, no matter how non obvious it would be at first. Forcing children to obedience may prevent the normal development of their character and consequently to other personal and interpersonal problems in life. As a parent, do we feel it's our responsibility to pressurize them to be obedient or to learn how to learn your child and guide them through who they are and who they are becoming? Many parents only protect their children from harm and then just get out of their way, letting them explore things themselves. Mhm. Instead of intimidating, threatening, and shouting, parents could let go of the need to control and use encouragement, consequences, and deliberate ignoring instead, because these things mislead, misguide, right? So we said we're not going to do it because our parents did it, right? And we're going to treat them different because our parents did that. But really, what our parents didn't do was communicate. They didn't feel, they were not in touch with their feelings enough to be able to communicate with their children what is actually going on in life so their children could develop. So a lot of people within that era end up having developmental issues. This doctor named Dr. Dekovics study titled Parental Cognitions, Parental Behavior, and the Child's Understanding of Parent and Child Relationship. This study was conducted to find out which kinds of effects have the two above mentioned kinds of parenthood on children's develop. The hypothesis made before was fulfilled in the result. Parental restrictiveness and unsupported behaviors are negatively related to the child's interpersonal understanding. In this kind of behavioral setting created by the parent, the child is not required to consider and understand other points of views, as the perspective talking skill expected from the child are relatively simple. In accepting and a democratic relationship, the child is more involved in decision making, and it is necessary for him or her to consider multiple perspectives and comprehend parental points of view. These behaviors might help the child then to understand more fully the nature of the social environment and might facilitate the development of social cognitive skills. So, what that would mean, instead of as a parent, we are dictators. We have become dictators. If we have, how many of us as parents I can really say we listen to our children, sit down, that they are listened to, that they are heard, and that are they are seen, that they are listened to, that they are heard, and that they are seen, not in passing, not by going by. So when we think about parental abuse, when we think about, damn, our children not listening to us, they despondent from us, they're not communicating with us, they don't want no parts of us, they're going to the game, they're going to their friends, they're going to everybody, and we as parents won't confess that that shit is hurtful. Like, man, We expect so much from our children because we had them and we know we love them, and we provide food, clothing, and shelter. And like my parents, I could use my parents as an example. I'm a 70s child. You couldn't say shit. You better not say anything. You were not heard. You were not listened to, and you were not seen. You would have chores. You would go to school. It was more of a autocratic relationship. You know, it was on automatic around there. You knew what to do. You did it. You didn't communicate. So then, when you come out of that type of parental rearing, you thinking this is the industrial industry. Mom is at home. When dad comes home, food is on the table. That leave it to beaver type of shit we grew up under. So we were the generation who left up under that, who got married and got relationships and didn't know anything on even how to parent. So when we think about that, and how our kids respond to us, we have to give some consideration, to how they feel. On the other hand, people may also believe that at the end of the day, obeying parents is better option as a child grows and conserves enough wisdom to be able to do so. As Mark Twain states, obeying parents is the best policy in the long run because if one doesn't, they will make him or her. They will make him or her. Most parents think they know better than their children do. And children can just generally make more humoring that superstition than they can be acting on their own better judgment. Twain, 1882. So check this out. Children who are obedient to their parents tend to have happier relationships with their parents because of decreased strain of the relationship. That is a much better option than having to deal with nagging, grounding, or arguing consistently. Right, 2011. But check this out. What if you grew up in a home where you knew that your parents was wrong? Did anybody have a did anybody have the option to turn around and tell their parents that they was wrong? Hey, dad, the shit you're talking about is, no, you really, don't know what you're talking about, dad. Man, please. Mom, you don't really know shit about math, you know. I mean, who was able to tell their parents this type of shit? So when we think about knowledge, who is helping the children in between time gain the knowledge that their parents lacked? Teachers? Family members? Like, where are these kids gaining knowledge? Is that not a question? If parents are going around and saying, "Oh, I feel abused, my child is not involved, he's not speaking," our parents gave two shits about a punishment for real. Electronical punishment. If you could plug that shit in, you couldn't use it. But you, as parents, are scared to unplug the electronics. And that's where this topic comes in: parental abuse. What fear is there as a parent that cooks, cleans, pays rent, labor 40 hours plus a week, provides all the amenities to the children, and you scared to tell them you are on punishment because they're not going to like you, they're not going to talk to you, they're going to get mad at you, you can't stand them not being able to. My mother and father didn't give two shits about that. We take your ass to your room, you might be in there a week, you didn't have shit but a book, and what were you to do? You went through that transition of having an attitude, you was pissed with your parents, but you would never think in a million quadruple billion, whatever number, that's just some type of unidentified number, to ever think about striking your mom, trying to disrespect your father, um walking around the house trying Walking around the house trying to give your parents the silent treatment. When your parents ask you to get up and do something, you guys actually sit there on the couch and say no. Okay. If that's how you choose to be children, you are abusive children. You are children who are abusive to your parents. And one, disrespectful because you can't provide for yourself. You have no form of revenue, no form of clothing, no form of obtaining food, clothing, and shelter. And you would talk and disrespect your parents like this. Um, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. But you have to bear in mind that keeping the control is an important aspect of childcare. However, parents should try to never cross the line of control or enforcement. It seems that parents who are able to conceptualize children, parenthood, and the parent child relationship tend to behave towards their child in a more adaptable, flexible way. They tend to be more accepting, warm, stimulative, when controlling the child. They tend to rely on the child's understanding of the situation rather than on the authority alone. Let me meditate. Let me read this again, just that part. Hmm. When controlling the child, they tend to rely on the child's understanding of the situation rather than on their authority alone. Such behavior has been found consistently to be positively related to the child's competence and social cognitive development. To conclude this article written by Dr. Dekovic, Dekovic, to conclude, parents differ in their child rearing practices in terms of two major dimensions: support and control. In regard to the first dimension, it is usually thought of parental warmth, responsiveness, and the second dimension is associated with negative aspects such as power, assertion, and restrictiveness. Yet, control can also be exercised more democratically by using inductive methods rather than coercive ones and by fostering the child's independence, responsibility, and demandingness. Um, I read that article because that's some type of new modernized article of child rearing and parenting. But most parents don't give a shit. They say they go to work, they pay the bills, they go do whatever they say do. But the reason that I put this out here today is what is the responsibility of the child? That type of parenting that we grew up under was some type of laboring child rearing responsiveness. Not much love, not much hugs, not much compassion, not much being able to express, not much reasoning. So in this generation, you have children who are able to overly express, and it has gotten to the point where the child is dominant in the house. It's no more father, mom, children, and then whoever you believe upon that, God. But it's child, no dad, children running the house, or is mom and dad, and the child is still up here. And these two people who sacrifice, pay their life, go work every day, deal with the ills and stresses of the world, are being dominated and abused physically, emotionally, and financially, that because parents can't say no, that they are being financially battered by their children, that because their children want something, they're going to go even work even more, that children are laboring their parents, that children, that parents are sitting in homes during this pan epidemic and onward, are sitting in homes being ridiculed, disrespected, told no consistently by their children, being abused, moms and dads, daughters running fathers, sons running mothers. Son, turn the TV off. No. Wash the dishes. You do it. And they go do it. I have no intention or judgment. What we do on the mind of the insane is only see how we can get back to the sanity of these situations, because somewhere along the way we've lost our mind and become insane regarding our children and the responsibility. They are not mentally able and capable enough to even tell us what to do when they aren't even in the labor or the workforce yet. I mean, wake up, parents. I'm just, I don't want to slap you or anything, but it's kind of a wake up call that need to happen here. Okay. You work 40, 50 hours a damn week. Okay. You come home, the kitchen not clean, nothing is done within the house. Now, I understand that you might feel like, why do the kids have to wash and cook and clean? That's just responsibility shit in life. You know, when they go to college, they don't have to clean. Do you really want the dean calling you saying, damn, you got the nastiest ass kid in the college? They don't pick up shit. They don't do shit. They don't clean nothing. They don't wash anything. This is about responsibility, guidance, discipline. Do you really, if a child really think they could slap their mom to the floor or punch or punch their dad, do you really think they gonna have any respect for the people that's out in society who might just whop their ass? hmm So when we think about parental abuse, I know that many parents think about, oh, I love my child so much, and I don't want to be mean to them, and I don't want to them to be mad at me. That's not your job. Your job is to provide protection, guidance, love, protection. Did I say that already? To listen, to assist, to make them productive people in their community, within their work environment. And from the way that society is looking, have we done this? No. So just spend some time today and researching at yourself saying, am I an abused parent? Have I let my child manipulate me psychologically, emotionally, physically, financially? Am I being held under the thumb of a kid? And if you are, it's time to break the barrier. It's time to break through. They might have tantrums, they might scream, they might shout, but you have to regain your rightful position in your household and get back to not the dictatorship that we grew up under, because that shit was so rough. We just damn, they knocked the parenting out our ass. We had to figure out and formulate how to even just figure out how to be parents again with our children. But that's why this show is important. The Mind of the Insane. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Just ask yourself the question: if you are a parent that is being physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially abused, it's okay, parents. It's okay. I'm telling you, these damn kids is manipulative. They get up under your skin. They sharp with it. But listen, It's time to break the change. The world is getting so rough. They need to discipline back. Don't beat your kids now. Don't start beating them into discipline. Scare the hell out of them so much they don't want to do nothing. That we're not talking about that parenting, but we aren't talking about a parenting that's saying, I will withdraw this from you. I am the authority in the home. I'll say when you turn the TV on and when you're not, and when, the rules. And they have to follow them. Rules. Parents, I am praying for you all because we need strength. These kids crazy. So we need strength. I just want to thank you. Everybody join the group. It's on Facebook. The group is called The Mind of the Insane. It's on Facebook. You can watch us on Haps. You can watch us on Anchor. Well, listen on Anchor Radio. Just the Facebook, on Twitter. I appreciate you all. Love, peace, blessings, respect. Get a hold of your children.